Welcome to the Nevis Newscast for Wednesday, December 4th, 2024. I am Brantley Swanston Hendrickson. Premier and Minister of Finance, the Honourable Mark Brantley, presented a $273 million budget for the Nevis Island administration during a sitting of the Nevis Island Assembly, which commenced on Tuesday, December 3rd. He tabled the NIA's draft estimates of expenditure for 2025 and moved the first and second readings of the Nevis Appropriation 2025 Ordinance 2024, a bill to appropriate certain sums of money for the use of the public service of the island of Nevis for the financial year commencing on January 1st, 2025 and ending December 31st, 2025.
The budget for the upcoming fiscal year is set at $273.17 million, a minor reduction of 3% when compared to the budget of $282.7 million, which was set for fiscal year 2024. We have allocated the amount of $203.8 million to recurrent spending, representing 75% of the total budgeted expenditure. Having considered the expected uptick in economic activity for the upcoming fiscal year, my administration has set its revenue budget and anticipates that it can collect the amount of $164.7 million in recurrent revenue, which represents a projected modest increase of 6% when compared to the projected revenue of $154.8 million budgeted for fiscal year 2024. We expect our recurrent revenue to be augmented by the remittance of at least $66 million from the federal government, representing our share of revenue from the CBI program. This remittance, when combined with our projected revenue collections, will provide a total overall recurrent revenue of $230.7 million for the upcoming fiscal period. When compared to the projected recurrent expenditure of $203.8 million, it provides a surplus on the recurrent budget of $26.9 million.
The theme of the two-hour address was Moving Forward, People-Focused, Supporting Entrepreneurship and Bolstering Job Creation.
Madam President, the amount of $69.4 million has been allocated for the funding of our capital expenditure program. This represents a 6% decrease when compared to the amount of $74.2 million that was allocated for fiscal year 2024. This is largely due to my administration's policy to streamline its capital expenditure program and to focus on projects for which funding can be readily identified or is readily available. We anticipate that funding for our capital budget will be comprised of low-cost loan funding, where applicable, and grant funding from regional and international partners. Therefore, Madam President, a summary of resources projected to finance our 2025 expenditure program is outlined as follows. Current revenue, $164.7 million. Projected minimum revenues from CBI passport processing fees, $66 million. Concessionary loans, $11.7 million. Grant funding, $3 million.
The Nevis Island Assembly will reconvene at 10 a.m. on Thursday, December 5th for the continuation of the debate on the Nevis Island Administration's 2025 budget. Premier and Minister of Tourism, the Honourable Mark Brantley, recently reminded taxi operators in Nevis not to take their role in the tourism industry and the Nevis economy for granted. The Ministry of Tourism was hosting its taxi refresher training session as the tourist season commenced.
You are our first line. You are our first impression. And what you do, what you say, how you interact is going to impact in a negative way or in a positive way this island and this lifeblood that we have, which is tourism. Tourism, as we say, is everybody's business. In your case, it's your direct business. And so I want you to treat it as such. Now in Nevis, we have the phenomenon where many taxi drivers are part-time taxi drivers. A lot of you have full-time jobs elsewhere, and so you run a little taxi as a part-time thing. But I don't want you to treat it as a part-time thing. Even if you're doing it part-time, you still must bring the level of professionalism to it as we would expect. And so I'm urging and encouraging you to continue doing well, continue learning, continue making best efforts, because we are depending on you.
The session covered topics including Destination Nevis, Must-See Places, presented by Greg Phillip, Excellent Service Delivery and Recovery by Noah Mills, Refreshing the Story by Leonard Stapleton, and History of Nevis in a Nutshell by Cavell Jeffers. Premier Brantley said he believes the training is essential as it helps the participants to develop their skills as taxi operators.
Many of us come to these training sessions, we engage, and I thank you for coming, but training is not useful unless you're willing to take on board the lessons that are being imparted by the individuals who are here to impart those lessons. And all of us need training. As we say locally, tut mun sama bagay. Everybody, because continuous training allows you to continually up your game. I mean, what are we doing to try to ensure that we are keeping up, we are modernizing, and we're ensuring that we're offering the best in class?
The tourist season in Nevis runs from November to April. Premier Brantley expressed the hope that this season would be profitable for all. Still to come.
The numbers that you recall is 669-8726 or 664-5765.
The details after this break.
Truly, one of the few places that has an untouched beauty that has captivated the hearts of many. Nevis is everything you imagine.
Welcome back. Nevis will ring in the holiday season with Christmas in the capital on Wednesday evening, December 4th. As is customary, the much-anticipated annual event hosted by the Department of Community Development takes place in Charlestown.
December 4th, 2024, we are having our annual Christmas in the capital under the theme, The Whole World Rejoices. Our patron for this year is none other than Miss Gloria Anslin, a woman who wears many hats, who has been very active in the community, who has done so much in the areas of humanitarian efforts and church, culture, and so much more. Good day, Miss Anslin. How are you doing?
Good day, I'm fine.
And how do you feel being selected as patron for this year's Christmas tree lighting?
Well, at first I hesitated because I say, why me? But then I said, I have done so much, and it is good that people recognize, when you do work in the community. So I'm very honored and humbled to be the patron of the Christmas tree lighting 2024.
In anticipation of the island's largest Christmas tree lighting ceremony, Denicia Smithen, Deputy Director of the Department of Community Development, held a conversation with Ms. Ansling.
Each year we choose one person from each parish, and this year we chose from St. Paul's Parish. Miss Anslin is originally from Chapel Street, and she is known in the church community. She's known to be a very active member of the Red Cross and so much more. You would have mentioned that you were a junior member of the Red Cross, but I know that you were also director of the Nevis Red Cross. So can you tell us how long you served as director of the Nevis Red Cross?
Well, I served about, this is sad to say, about 40 years. They had to change the constitution to get me, because every year they keep voting me back, even though I don't really want, because it was in me to give back to the community, and my volunteerism spirit. I said, so I go ahead until they had to only take me out of the Red Cross. So then I still continued with them though.
So ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, our wonderful patron for this year's Christmas in the Capital, Mrs. Gloria Anslin. And don't forget that Christmas in the Capital will be held on Wednesday, December 4th, 2024 in the War Memorial Square right here in Charlestown at 7 p.m.
The Nevis Abattoir and Meat Processing Plant has new offerings for sale during the Christmas season. The deadline to place orders is Friday, December 13th.
One of our recent products is the bacon, the pork belly bacon we had before, and we're now doing the pork loin bacon. These go pretty well among the hoteliers and so forth. So we in the preparation mode right now, stocking up on the bacon, the hams, the sausages, just before we get into the busier period in terms of slaughtering for general public as well as for different restaurants and outlets and so forth.
Manager of the Nevis Abattoir, Gary Griffin, also spoke to the pricing of the items.
For the hams this year, it normally runs from small of 60 plus to a large of 100 plus. So it's normally a range based on size actually. Chickens are normally around 30 to 40 in that range, and that's a smoked chicken. Rotisserie chicken, based on size again, they will run about 30 plus up to probably 50. We have other meats, beef, $9 and $9.50. For the special cuts, it's $14 a pound. Pork is $9, $9.50. Mutton is $12. The sausages, I think it's $14.50 per pound. We normally, so you have a pack of 4 or you have a pack of 5, it's $14.50. So each pack will maybe run you about $27.
You can place your orders by calling the Abattoir at 669-8726 or 664-5765. And that's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I am Brantley Swanston Hendrickson. Thank you for viewing.